Good afternoon and welcome to another week in our garden. Now we've had some very hot weather for here. How people managing that sort of heat, I just don't know. We had 41 degrees in the shade here, so you can imagine the heat that built up in these greenhouses. So I thought I'll start by showing you the damage it's done to the cucumber and the tomatoes. I'm not actually going to do anything to them till tomorrow because I'm not quite so busy tomorrow. The cucumbers, I've taken a real beating at the top. As you can see, it's parched these leaves out. So what I'm going to do is take all those, they're no good to the plant no more, they're not doing anything. Take them off all the way down where the sun has got to them. Luckily, we're still producing cucumbers. I'm thinking that if I cut all that off and give them a good nitrogen and potassium feed, which I'll have to get because I don't possess that sort of feed, and then give them that, they might just boost them back into the growth and we'll be able to get some more cucumbers this year. The tomatoes, all the top leaves have curled. That's just a result of high temperature and temperature changes. Nothing you can do for those. The ones that have turned yellow, obviously they're again not doing anything, so I shall remove those. I don't think we're going to get much out of that one now, but the crops that are on it we will get. But as you can see, I don't think the flowers are going to produce fruit at the top now. We'll try, we'll give them some feed and see if we can get them up and growing, but you'll never get this back. This just removes those. Now funnily enough, the tomatoes that are outdoors, apart from a bit of leaf kill, have got through it better than these, and there's loads of fruit on them. I've been watering at night and very early in the morning. I've also done some harvesting first thing in the morning before that heat came, but I'll put that on now and show you that. Good morning. Very hot today. I do believe we have a red warning of heat across the country today, so I've been down first thing this morning and picked a few red currants, and that's all the gooseberries for this year. So while it's nice and hot, we can sit where it's a bit cooler and get them ready for freezing. Right, we've popped down, and as you can see, we've got 3 lovely summer cauliflowers there. I'm going to cut them because the heat is building now and they will yellow off if we leave them like this. So we'll take those 3 and we'll cover these other 3 up. Have a look. That's a nice cauliflower. There you are. I'll cut the other one, then I'll trim them. There you are. Very nice cauliflower, that. There you are. There's 3 nice summer cauliflowers. Now we're just going to lift the cabbage and the lettuce while we're here. We're going to take this one here because it's the largest one there, and if I leave it, it'll stretch. There's a little bit of something eating it, but that's no problem. These are the mini cole, very good cabbage. We'll take this lettuce as well. It's a Laura Rossa, beautiful lettuce. That's what we've quickly picked this morning before it gets too hot. As you can see, it's 10 o'clock and the temperature's at 30. That's why we needed to get these cauliflowers etc. out of the ground. We have this area all covered because of the chickens. They need somewhere shaded. We're going down to the fruit cage and we need to sort those raspberries out. that have now finished cropping. Now we've come down into the fruit cage. It's very sort of overcast at the moment. We have actually had some rain this morning, which was very, very welcome, but nowhere near enough. Now these are the raspberries. They're Malling Juno and they're a floricane. That means that they'll grow up 1 year and then fruit on the canes that have grown the following year. Let me show you, it's over here. I've done half of them this morning. As you can see, all the canes that have fruited I've removed, and the new canes I train them on now. There'll be a lot more than that by the time we get into summer a little bit more, and then we tie those on, and then I'll show you how I turn them and get them to fruit all the way down. But at the moment we've got to take that lot off. Now there was a few raspberries still on it. The huge heat we had has just frizzled them up and they've just fallen off, and most of them now are on the floor. But it was about finished. Now the raspberries over that side, they've got to fruit yet, so they're just building up. But this one, the floricane, we need to get all this off. What I do, I cut it all off from the top. Okay. The old canes are brown and finished, so we remove these and then tie in the nice green ones for next year, next spring. Now luckily the Malling Juno has got no prickly leaves on it, so it's fine to cut. You just have to beware to make sure you're cutting the old off, not the new. See, like that. You see the side growths are showing green, but the cane itself is brown. That's what you must watch for. Let's take these off and show you on the way down. Can you see, they're your new canes, so we don't cut those at all. These are old canes but new growth, so it's a little bit, you've got to be a little bit careful. I cut my strings that I tied them in with. All got to come off. It's only jute string, so it doesn't take much cutting. And then we can take these down to the next stage. What I should do, I do this half all the way down, and then I'll do that one and show you what we've done. There we go. Cut them all. Now this afternoon I will put all these through the shredder and they can go straight on the compost heap. And just make some room and show you then. Better. It lets a bit of daylight in when you take them all out. This one's an old one, not to take that. When you come taking them out, cut them off as low as you can. Right down there, look. Right, so I'll take the rest of this old growth out and then I'll come back to you for tying the new in. Now we've cleared the old canes out, You can see there's quite a few new canes coming up. Now we need to tie those in. So I may as well put those on the floor. Just a case of pulling them in. These are quite tall, and just cross. It's only jute string, but we will be tying these in again later on when we set it up properly. When there'll be a lot more canes than this to do then. So we'll just tie these up. It stops them blowing over as well. I might go round and do it, it'll be easier. You can tie them in groups, there's no need to be too, it's the same height, just for safety so they don't blow over. Yeah, and then we'll tie those down. Right, we'll tie those lower ones to a lower cross piece in a moment. I'll just tie these on. Not too tight though, because they are still growing. Just enough to hold them. That's it, I think. And then what we'll do, we'll feed them and put some compost on, garden compost. No manure obviously goes in these. So take these group here in, and then those over there, I think, or perhaps the other way round. We'll bring those in. They've grown a little bit out because the old crop was there, you see, so we have got to lean them in a bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. Just to pull them over for a short while, and then they'll start and grow further in to go straight up. You will knock an odd leaf off while you're doing this, but it's got to be done. Right, let's have the rest in. So this, I'm going to just take those in there and then strap those in as well, stop them snapping. Quite a job, but it has to be done. As I say, not too tight, but just enough to hold them. We'll put one on this one, just to that one or that one. We'll put it on this lower one, just hold them in. Just keeps them all tight and happy. There you go. Now this one that's right out here, now as you get more and more canes growing, the bed will swell, and so you will get some on this outer edge. So all I do is I just pull those out. A lot of people dig them up and move them back, but it will be, as the crop matures and the roots get bigger, they will push the way out a little bit. I'm afraid the stragglers you want tying, but you want a longer piece of string. It'll probably pull itself off anyway, this eventually, but we'll just hold it down for now because we've work to do here. There you are. That'll be fine. Now I just need to clean up a little bit. I do it with a hand fork, but very, very gently, because there'll be new canes starting to come through, and I don't want to scratch the top off by using a lot of force. So I just gently clean up with this, and then we'll put some feed on. It's just a case of getting these leaves etc. off, and any weeds that are growing in there, perennial. I'm not taking too much off, I'm just, if I say to you I'm just tickling it with it, you'll know what I mean. And then we can really get cleaning up down here. And then that lot go in the bucket for getting rid of. As you can see there, with the canopy being on, that is bone dry in there, so I'm going to put a can of water on it first before I put the feed on. Just a 2-gallon can, it'll be enough to wet it through. I've got bloodfish and bone in there, and a little bit of calcified seaweed that'll help in the short term to boost them up. We'll just sprinkle it on. Remember that the roots are out here as well, so we do both sides. And then put it all on, plenty there. This is compost out the bin. There's bits of old wood and all sorts in it, but that's fine, it's well rotted. And I just sprinkle that. Remember the edges, that's where the roots are. Like that. We want 2 buckets, one either side. You see there's old bits of cabbage or Brussels sprout stem that hasn't quite rotted down. We'll just scatter some this side as well. I want to make sure I get round the edge. That'll do. Now I'll just put that other can of water on. We'll just put another can on top. I know we've had a little bit of rain this morning, but what we're getting now is no more than sea fret, so it needs the good watering to wake those roots up now to send the new canes up. That's it, so it's had 4 gallons, it should be enough. Before we lift some beetroot, we'll just show you the comparison of the 2 tomatoes. Alright, there's a little bit of leaf curl, but we expected that at the high temperatures. But the fruit, as you can see, is hardly touched at all. Usually if they get too hot, they have like a brown surface on the tomatoes, like that would be like brown and burnt, but these all seem to be fine. The plum tomatoes that are San Maranzo 3 are ones that the Italians like, and they seem to have taken the sun brilliantly. I think we're going to have a very, very good harvest of the San Maranzo and the outdoor ones that we've got down there. I'm very pleased with the outdoor tomatoes. I'm afraid the calabrese has completely failed. It's completely gone to seed now. But there's not a loss, because the chickens, I've been pulling them up and giving the whole plant to the chickens, and the Brussels sprouts not been affected by the heat at all. They've just gone from strength to strength. I think soon they'll be pushing at the cover, lifting it up. Now we're going to take some of this beetroot We're going to take the round ones, which are bolt hardy, and then we'll take the cylinder ones later. And I was just looking, we've got one that is actually bolting, but I don't know which variety it is. It shouldn't be the bolt hardy, it's probably the cylinder. So we'll lift a few. It's a bit of good soil here, so they should have done quite well. There you are. What I'm going to do is just go and twist the tops off for now, and then I'll come and put those on the compost heap later. Yeah. Nice beets. That one's a bit bigger, but it'll be alright, I'm sure. That's a huge beetroot. Look at the size of that. I don't like to see them too big because that means they might be woody inside, but I don't think they've been in long enough to go woody. Blimey. Diane can carry that truck with that in. I'll lift a few more, then show you what we're going to take today. Now that's the round beetroot we've harvested. That is actually bolt hardy. The sizes vary somewhat. It's not hybrid, so they're an uneven pick. I'll just show you one of the cylinders, so it'll make sense when we're talking about the cylinder ones. Should be able to lift it. There you go. That's the cylinder ones. They say that once you've cooked them, they're easier for slicing, but there's not much difference in the beetroot to beetroot. I'll just take that one then, because we've lifted it. They come in various, so some of them are huge and some are small, but they're all mainly cylinder, where these are mainly round. Now that'll be it for this week. Now I hope everybody's garden in the UK has survived the heat. I think we are doing alright, but with loads of water in at night that got us through. That'll be it for this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I've got the sun coming out on me now. I can feel 40 degrees coming back. Take care everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye now.